Alright, I'm just gonna go. I had no time to prepare for this. I woke up like 5 minutes ago, just got my clothes on, just ran with it. Um, my hair just went in my mouth. Damn. Okay, no time to prepare, no time for anything. Just gotta open this up immediately. Welcome, my friend. Hello. Nice. Lovely. Directly related to what I have here today, which is technically a birthday present that I believe is now 2 weeks late. Who cares? I'm gonna have to cover up the schmad dress, but it's a thing from people. Holy hell. I've been waiting for this too long. It's everything I wanted in life. Possibly. I don't know exactly what he may have written. I requested a ton of crazy stuff that's pretty much entirely reliant on whether or not he's actually willing to look up a fictional series of symbols or just do crazy whateverisms, but there's a large panel of cardboard in here. Now look at that. It's cardboard. Hello, cat. What is your prep? Oh shit. That okay. Fuck. Not sure if it showed anything. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Here we go. I'm pulling it out. Pulling out. And certificate on the back. I got a little post-it label. One, 2, 4, 0. Just some post-it numbers. 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 Pretty, I love him. This is an autograph from Dane Diliegro, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. Hello, cat. Hello, cat. Hello, cat. Goodbye, cat. Uh, what do I say? Let's say words. I love Prey. I love the newest Predator film, Prey, which is a stealth Predator prequel. It's currently on Hulu. The plot of the film is essentially just it's Native Americans basically trying to do their own like coming of age hunts, but there's something else on the planet doing a coming of age hunt with them, and so you get both a very detailed and extremely accurate look at Native American cultures. Specifically, it's the Comanche tribe, and they do just a lovely job with representation. Um, all of the actors are Native American who are playing the Comanches. There's a Comanche dub so that you can actually watch the film in its original, the language its characters speak. Just, I love so many things about it. It's a return to form for the Predator series. The first Predator film was, of course, just a big, buff, macho army dudes marching through a South American country and, you know, shooting up people and doing just generic 80s action stuff. But then the film takes a sharp turn to the left when they've killed all the bad guys, but there's still something out there killing off them. Then you have the sequel, which is mostly unrelated. They mention the first Predator film in it, but the idea is it's a 90s drug bust action film about, you know, a hardcore detective who's trying to take down a bunch of gangs who are at war with each other, and then sharp left turn, turns out that the gang war is actually being prematurely ended by a creature that's hunting them all down and just killing everybody everywhere. And basically the idea with both is it's already a good film from the start. You've got a good 80s action film with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jesse Ventura and Sonny Landham. Just already solid cast, solid directing, solid score. It's a genre film. It's a big Rambo style, you know, shoot 'em up in the jungle. Then you have Predator 2, which is basically Lethal Weapon. They got Danny Glover to play a detective in LA, and it's like, okay, we get it. It's Lethal Weapon, but with a predator. So you had all that. Then you had Alien vs. Predator and Alien vs. Predator Requiem, which kind of got off track. Alien vs. Predator people didn't like as much because it wasn't R-rated. It was PG-13. But it had some gory stuff, enough in it to actually be part of both, and they did a very good job of actually connecting the two franchises together. It's just a solid film. It is kind of odd that it's PG-13 when the rest of the films in both franchises are R-rated, but it gets away with it most of the time. Then you have Alien vs. Predator Requiem, which takes a more generic slasher approach and kind of messes with the setting and doesn't have many of the same characters. It's very much like a sort of accidental sequel. And again, that is very close to like the slasher movies it for some reason took inspiration from, where slasher films don't really have much continuity besides the monster just popping up from wherever it left off in the last one. You know, if Jason Voorhees is chained at the bottom of a lake, in the next one he'll get unchained from the bottom of the lake. And that's the same way it is with Alien vs. Predator Requiem. The previous Alien vs. Predator film had a predator on its spaceship being prepared for a funeral, but it's got a face hugger that attached to it earlier, and so now there's a chest burster that's part predator, part alien. And then that thing gets out and kills everything and crashes the spaceship. But other than that, and other than the fact that the Weyland-Yutani company exists and is tracking these things down, there's not much continuity. pretty much the best thing that came from that film was the introduction of the main predator, who I believe could technically qualify as the protagonist of it. But that's just me. Then you have, after that, Predators in, I believe that was released in 2010, where it's basically like a sort of odd sci-fi film with a solid cast. Topher Grace, Danny Trejo, I believe Lawrence Fishburne is in it as well. But it kind of gets away from the point of the first two solo Predator films, which was, it's already a genre movie that's well made, and it's already kind of stereotypical, and then we just add this element into it as the film progresses. With Predators, it kind of starts off as, you know, it's already a sci-fi, you know, monster, people in the woods being hunted down movie, and then the element they add is just the licensing for the Predator films. So it just feels a little off, but it's still extremely well made. It's an excellent film. It just happens to lean too far into the Predator stuff at times. Then there's The Predator from 2018, which pretty much everyone generally agrees is probably the worst out of the franchise, along with Alien vs. Predator Requiem, where they try to add too much backstory, and they take away the genre elements. So it just starts off with everybody already knowing about, okay, we've got this big company, and hunts down the predators whenever they show up on Earth. And it's going after a guy who happens to have stolen some predator tech on accident. All of this stuff. And there's no mystery or intrigue, it's just the predators are already here. They try to add a big twist where it's like they're using the DNA of creatures they hunt to improve themselves, but it doesn't actually matter much to the canonical timeline of Predator stuff because there's lots of different subspecies and tribes and groups of predators in the franchise. That's pretty much the main point, is we've got ones that come down to Earth every so often, but they're from space. They have their own cultures and colonies and tribes across, I guess, the galaxy, the universe. And some of them don't operate the same as others. And so this idea of, like, all of the predators are, you know, just upgrading themselves with human DNA, including, in a bizarre subplot, there's, you know, they're going after an autistic kid because autism is apparently the next step in human evolution to them, and they decide they want to all be autistic. So they're gonna kidnap the kid and use his DNA to improve their own genetic structure, which is just a baffling plot line. Somehow, like, so trying to not be ableist that it actively goes back around into being ableist. Because the entire point of the Predators previously that we had been shown on film was that they don't hunt people who don't have weapons. And so anybody who's not fit to protect themselves or fight back doesn't get hunted, and it's fine. And in this one, they're like, well, they're trying to hunt you already, but, you know, autistic people can't protect themselves. So, you know, it's not gonna kill the kid, it's just gonna steal him and kidnap him and take him to another planet, which is like, oh my god, so many no's and wrong things, and just oof. Lots of strange and unlikable choices. But it made money. it made money, and aside from the fact that just everybody generally hated it, it kind of put people's thoughts on the franchise again. Then there was a video game afterwards called Predator Hunting Grounds that takes place with the same continuity from that one, but then adds in Dutch, Arnold's character from the very first film, because they wanted to get Arnold Schwarzenegger back. It looks to be a moderately decent video game. Again, it kind of fucks with the already established continuity, because they try to introduce female predators in it, but there's a problem, namely that we already know canonically what female predators look like, and they're pretty much the idea is that the standard, like, base predator society. Sorry if I have to pause when I say predator. I'm used to calling them Yautja. Technically, the alien from Alien is a xenomorph, and the predator from Predator is a Yautja. And I know people don't like... normal people don't like the technical names because it's complicated and, you know, it's like, it's not the name of the film, so people don't understand what you mean when you say it. But the base Yautja we're used to encountering in the franchise are a matriarchal society where the most eminent hunters and most competent members of society are the women. And so the male Yautja have to go perform hunts in order to prove that they are as competent as the women, and go through coming of age rituals and get, like, basically attention. It's a way to say, hey, we're also competent, please procreate with us, and all this stuff. It's very complicated, too complicated to sum up at once, but basically, Yautja society is a matriarchal society where basically the characters we're used to seeing in the Predator films come down and butcher humans are the younger members of the society doing coming-of-age rituals to try and actually gain positions of prowess in their society back on their home planet. That's basically it. And they have an honor system that says we can't kill defenseless women and defenseless men and defenseless children. They just can't kill defenseless people, which is hilarious, because of course that means the solution for every Predator film is just to drop your weapons and run. And of course people have made fun of that a lot. Like, okay, what if you drop all the weapons, but then the Predator drops its weapons? It's still, like, 3 feet taller than you and made of almost pure muscle and all that. And this film kind of goes... Prey, the newest one, kind of makes fun of that a little bit. Because, of course, it's set in a time when our best weapons were, like, muskets and flintlock pistols and blunderbusses and bows and arrows and hatchets and tomahawks and all that. All that good old-fashioned stuff from when people were just first getting to America as a continent. And that's kind of where our film is sort of set. We've got this contrast of, we've had, I believe, 6 films with the Predators set in modern times. And because of that, everybody has modern weapons, and it's just kind of modern culture. But now we get a period piece film that is essentially just like a very dramatic historical film, and then all of a sudden an alien comes down and starts to butcher everyone. And we get to see what the primitive versions of Predator's weapons looks like. Because in the newest films, they have laser guns and all of this stuff. But then we get to see what the sort of less refined, more primitive versions of that look like. And that's where this guy comes in. He has sort of been dubbed the Feral Predator, unofficially. There hasn't been any merchandise made officially, so we still don't know what his actual name is. And basically the idea is he's a Yautja from a tribe we haven't really seen before yet. He's built for the desert and dry climates, has a completely different skin texture and coloration. He's got a different facial structure, different helmet, all of the cool stuff that comes from like creating subcultures within a fictional alien world. Just lots of genuinely fun design details on him. And I also just kind of have a crush on every Yautja from all of the films. I can't say specifically which one it started with, but the ones that stick out to me are the quote-unquote classic or crucified Predator from the 2010 Predators, where most of the other Predators we see in the film are from a different tribe, and they're much more murderous and unfair. And there's tons of them, and they're all just ready to kill the main characters. But the main characters encounter one who happens to look like he's from the tribe that the original Predator film featured. So it's called the Classic Predator because it uses the classic design. And it's called the Crucified Predator because when they find him, he's bound up in chains on a large obelisk structure. And maybe it's just the fact that it's the only Predator in the films we see who's bound in chains by his arms and legs, but, you know, I have a crush on that one. Then there's Scar from Alien vs. Predator, who's the only Predator we see in the franchise actively working with humans. Namely, he works with the main character of that film, Alexa Woods, to sort of try and prevent the xenomorphs from overrunning the continent that they're on. And I won't try and spoil much, but the idea is that him and Alexa Woods have like a whole sort of, not really buddy cop, but like accidental buddies thing, where it's like they both know that they'll be killed if they don't have the other's help, and they both respect each other's competence and like slowly begin to work out a way to talk with each other and strategize. It's genuinely interesting how they do it. It's taken from the much better Alien vs. Predator comic series, but they do it well enough where it feels like its own thing. And that's another thing. There's Predator comics and Predator novels and Alien vs. Predator comics and Alien vs. Predator novels that I absolutely adore. Just fully adore some of the novels. There's an anthology novel for Predator called If It Bleeds, and it's an anthology from all the different parts of like the Predator mythos, from the past, from the future, from the present, even including little glimpses of some of the characters we know from the films. I just love it. I just love it. And that's the thing the comics and novels do a lot, is they mess around with the settings. It can take place in the past during a historical event. It can take place in the future during, like, the universe that Alien and Aliens and Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection all set up. It can cross over with each other sometimes to show where little bits of the franchise interact with the next one. And this film is very clearly inspired from it, from the idea of setting it during a historical period to, minor spoilers, but one of the items during the end of the film kind of is a preeminent reference to where it ends up during the events of Predator 2. Just all of that stuff. And we get to see another subculture of the AHHHH. I fucking love it. And Dane Diliegro is just amazing. I love words are not happening. He has had another role in a show called American Horror Stories, which is an anthology series based on the American Horror Story TV show that's been running for possibly too long now. But he has a role in that one as sort of a... Basically, there's an episode of that show where a woman is being gaslit by her husband, whose friends are all special effects artists on movies, and they're all trying to trick her into believing that she's being hunted down by a demon that wants her kid, because the guy who's her husband for some reason is like, I want to make my woman go insane, and our child is gonna die, and I'm gonna get all the money if she goes insane, and I get all of the property that used to belong to her. And presumably they've done this before with other people. It's very complicated, but basically the idea is one of the things they use as a prop to, like, try and gaslight her into believing there's a demon coming after her turns out to be an actual magic book that can summon a demon. So she summons a demon for revenge, and it helps her unalive all of them. And it's kind of like the goofy sort of big red guy with horns and a little tail and wings and everything. Like, imagine Hellboy mixed with, like, the Baron of Hell from Doom. Big old buff guy. And he's played by Dane Diliegro. And the end of the anthology short implies that, yeah, that woman totally banged him. Which, when I watched it, is like, fair enough. I actually like this, mainly because, well, it's a giant, hot, buff demon guy helping a woman get revenge on the people who've wronged her, and then they make out. Hot. And then he goes off, and he gets to play the Predator. They're calling it the Feral Predator for now. In Prey. I think he's hot too, and I think that the Feral Yacht is hot, and I think I've watched this film like 4-5 times. I don't have Hulu anymore. I had the subscription when this first came out. I got a free trial and everything just to watch this, but now that my subscription is gone, it's like, okay, I can't watch it anymore. But it's a 1-month subscription, and I watched Prey 4 times during that 1-month subscription. So make of that what you will. Ooh. And it's a little thing to show where I got it from. This is from Minty CH Authentics. Follow them on the things. They do signings with a lot of horror movie actors. Just all of the horror movie actors, and that's how I got this, was through them. I had asked that if he knew any of the symbols that, like, make up the Yautja language in the films, if he could include those. But, you know, even I can't remember some of those. And he just played the guy. He shouldn't have to remember everything. And honestly, just the fact that I have this now, like, he held it in his own hands, he wrote on it, he spelled my name correctly. He spelled my name correctly, everybody. It's the name I don't sometimes like going by, but, you know, he still spelled it correctly. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Oh my god. Yes. This is going in my box of things to keep forever. Just forever. Just forever. I might be losing my mind, but that's okay. That's okay. And that's the end of my thingies for today. Oh my god. My spine hurts. I'm not sure how my spine hurts. How does my spine hurt? I'm just too happy.